The Steel City skimmer's hum echoed off the brutalist concrete of Park Hill Flats as it drifted toward Sheffield city centre. R.A. Waddilove gripped the steering yoke with white knuckles, his flat cap vibrating with every rev of the engine. Sat next to him was Mel Sterland, putting the finishing touches to his latest putty creation, an action pose of legendary blade striker Billy Sharp. Nearly got the chin right, Mel muttered to himself. After a few minutes of faffing about with it, Mel returned his focus to today's job in hand, hosting a beauty contest for the city's migrant community, which was increasingly coming under an unknown threat. "Okay, Wadders," he commanded as he batted a moth off his trench coat. "We've got a pageant to save, and if that tit Whitehouse calls the radio again, tell him I'm in a tunnel, a bloody deep one." Mel Sterland wasn't just a footballing legend anymore. He had become well known as the city's premier private eye. Today, and against Police Commissioner Whitehouse's wishes, he was to host the Sheffield's Sexiest Migrant competition at the Crucible Theatre, arranged as some sort of celebration of the city's cultural diversity. But the morning had been a disaster. The lead judge, a local baker, had suddenly pulled out, claiming his ovens had been sabotaged, and the main sponsor, a cutlery magnate, had been spooked and had gone into hiding. The skimmer screeched to a halt outside the Crucible, hovering inches above the pavement. Commissioner Whitehouse was already there, his face the color of a ripe tomato. "Sterland, this event is a powder keg," Whitehouse spat. "The sponsors are fleeing. Shut it down before there's a riot." "I don't shut down for anyone, Commissioner. Not even for a man who wears his trousers as high as you," Mel quipped, stepping off the hovercraft. "I smell a rat, and it doesn't smell like Henderson's relish." Inside the dressing rooms, Mel found his old teammate Imre Varadi helping a sexy contestant with a sash. "Mel, it's bad," Imre whispered. "Someone's been sending anonymous gifts to the judges. Dead pigeons, Mel. Dozens of them. They're terrified." Mel's eyes narrowed. Pigeons. There's only one man in South Yorkshire with that kind of feathered fetish. Quickly, Mel grabbed a megaphone and climbed onto the Crucible stage, surveying at first hand the sexiness that surrounded him. "Ladies and gentlemen, the pageant goes on. Wadders, keep the skimmer on standby. Imre, watch the stage door. I'm going up to the rooftop." Mel didn't use the stairs. Being a flashbugger, he used the hovercraft's emergency winch to swing onto the roof of the neighboring building. A bit like a sweaty Spider-Man, only fatter. There, silhouetted against the grey Sheffield sky, stood Simon Tracy. He was surrounded by blueprints and a cage of racing birds. "Tracy!" Mel yelled. "I knew you were behind this." Mel's arch-nemesis turned with a sneer on his face. "You're too late, Sterland. This pageant attracts too many migrants to my target zone. I need them gone, and once they're gone, the council will approve my permits. I'm building it, Mel, and you can't stop me. The world's largest pigeon loft. 8 stories of pure avian luxury, right where the migrants' ping-pong facility currently stands." "You'd ruin people's lives for a giant birdhouse?" Mel growled. "Oh, do quit your jibber-jabber, Mel. It's about the sport. Something a loose cannon like you wouldn't understand." Then Tracy lunged, but Mel was somehow faster. With the agility of a man who once owned the touchline, Mel delivered a perfectly timed sweep of the legs. As Tracy tumbled, Mel grabbed his radio. "Wadders, deploy the skimmer's net." The hovercraft rose, and a high-tension cargo net was fired out, pinning Tracy against his own blueprints. "You're booked, Tracy. Professional foul," Mel muttered. An hour later, the pageant was a roaring success. Imre Varadi, along with his old mucker Brian Marwood, had stepped in as guest judges, and the crowd cheered as a damn sexy winner was crowned. Commissioner Dane Whitehouse watched from the wings, grumbling but unable to deny the result. "These migrants are bloody sexy," he admitted, as he reluctantly led his former colleague Tracy away to be questioned about his pigeon plans. As he did so, Mel leaned against the Steel City skimmer, grinning like a Cheshire cat and clicking his fingers for some reason. "Good job, Mel," Waddilove said, wiping Swarfiger off his hands. "So where do you want to go now?" Mel looked out over the 7 hills. "Drive, Wadders, just drive." I think I heard a rumour of a rogue greengrocer selling manky shite in Rotherham. But before that, I think I've got a window in my schedule for a spot of How's Your Father with Pat from the Londis.
If you've been affected by any of the issues raised in this Sterland file, why not get a grip and have a word with yourself?